New year, new Toronto Raptors. Immanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett start for the Raptors as they get the success in a win over the Cleveland Cavaliers 124-121. It could have been easier. They could have made it better for themselves, but in the end, they get the job done. That's what's important. Let's break down how they did it and how the new faces looked in Raptors uniforms in our post-game show. Reminder, smash that like button if you enjoy the content. We do something like this for every Raptors game, and subscribe to keep up to date with all that great content coming your way, especially with new faces like RJ Barrett and Immanuel Quickley joining this team. It was exciting to see today that they would be active for today, but not only would they be active for tonight, they would be starting tonight for the Raptors. I mentioned on Twitter earlier today that the ideal lineup going forward for the Raptors is Immanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett, Scottie Barnes, Pascal Siakam, Jakob Poeltl as your starting five. Didn't think we'd get to see that today. Darko alluded to earlier on in the day that he's not sure about it. We may not see the same lineups, same starters today as we would do in other games. RJ Barrett said this morning that him and Quickley basically know nothing about the team. They know nothing about the schemes or the offense. So it's going to be tough for them to play. They don't know if they're going to be playing. But to be fair to them, Darko doesn't run any plays, so there's nothing to really learn. Therefore, RJ Barrett and Immanuel Quickley start today's game, and they start successfully. Without their presence tonight, I am confident to say this would not have been a win for the Raptors, but it was at the end of the day here. 19 points for RJ Barrett in his first game for his new team, his hometown team. What a moment for RJ Barrett, and shout out Immanuel Quickley. Got in foul trouble early, but still managed to put up 14 points and looks like the exact type of player that this team needed. The biggest of shout-outs go out to Pascal Siakam, who goes 13 for 20, 5 of 8 for 3, for 36 points. Unbelievable display from Pascal Siakam once again here to help lift the Raptors to victory. So, where we saw things look different for the Raptors today, Immanuel Quickley as a point guard. I have continued to say and will continue to say this Knicks trade was about Immanuel Quickley. It was about bringing in Immanuel Quickley. RJ Barrett is the gravy in this trade. Immanuel Quickley is the centerpiece of the trade that you wanted to get, and starting him at point guard, I'm so happy Darko is going with him at point guard. It just adds into so much more dynamism to our offense, and it just continues to have Schroeder coming off the bench where he continues to play well, does his job. Like, he had 12 points, 8 assists today. Gary Trent bumped to the bench once again as well, but Immanuel Quickley at point guard is so exciting to see. Darko mentioned it in the pregame press conference, suggesting that they really want to lean into Immanuel Quickley's possible progressions as a playmaker, and they really want to lean into Immanuel Quickley as the pick-and-roll ball handler. Darko Rajakovic loves the pick-and-roll, and they want to empower Immanuel Quickley to play in this role. Had a bit of a subdued role this season with the Knicks compared to last season. I think that this is a great landing spot for Quickley to really blossom and spread his wings, and we're going to give him all the tools in order to succeed here. His per 36 points per game is 22.6, so we start to bump up his minutes, give him that starting role. Exciting things are on the way here. We saw what he could do from a pick-and-roll perspective. The opposition defender, the guy defending Quickley, could not hedge the screens. He has to go over the screens based on the threat of the Immanuel Quickley pull-up jumper. But he's such a wiry type of player, even for his size, almost Tyrese Maxey-like with his speed, pushing the pace of this Raptors offense, coming off of dribble handoffs, coming off of screens and attacking the rim. And my goodness, is it not so beautiful to see a Raptors point guard who can make a floater? Missed a couple late in the game, but early on we saw the floater game working so well for Quickley. Such a welcome sight to add to this team. His fit immediately, like he had the second basket of the game for the Raptors. No, he had the first basket of the game for the Raptors. It was an Immanuel Quickley catch and shoot three. We're going to see many more of those, but his fit and how good it is was immediately apparent to Raptors fans watching on. RJ Barrett, clunky a little bit at first from a fit perspective, and I think fit down the line is going to be a bit clunky, but we saw the talent. We saw the skill. And this guy knows how to score. Scoring is hard. Very hard to do in the NBA. Here's a guy who maybe doesn't do it the most efficiently in the best of ways, but here's a guy who can score, and you can fine-tune that, especially for a 23-year-old. And RJ does it. He scores and does it efficiently today. 19 points, 9 rebounds on 6 of 12 shooting. 1 of 2 from 3, 6 of 8 from the line, and importantly, 2 clutch free throws late in this game. Scottie Barnes also added in 20 points on 7 of 17 shooting. Raptors dominated the first half. Mostly, they were up by 18 at one point. The Cavs made it 8 by the time the Cavs had shrunk that down to 8 by the time the second half had started. It was 7 at the start of the fourth quarter. Then the Cavs came back into the game. You know, when the Raptors in tough situations where the offense slows down, it becomes a half-court battle. Yes, there's going to be some issues there. We know that all throughout the season, but it was gutty for this team to come out here and get the buckets they needed. And most importantly, what happened late, the Raptors got the stops that they needed to win this basketball game. That was the most important thing about this team. They got the stops late. They weren't scoring every possession, but they were getting stops every possession. And when the going got tough in the latter stages of the game, Scottie Barnes was the guy they went to. He got some important buckets. He helped get some important stops. Immanuel Quickley looking like a good defender, showcasing his talent over there today. This was a really nice step for the Raptors here. RJ Barrett and Immanuel Quickley came into this game blind, basically, on what the Raptors try to do as a team. The bench still has a little bit of depth issues, like Thaddeus Young had to check in for 2 minutes today, but you know, it is what it is. We went 8-man today, pretty much. We had to load up on the main guys in their minutes today, and it worked to great avail. Quickley and Barrett, having barely known anything about this team, come in, contribute immensely to the success of this team, and the Raptors grabbed the win here. Nice little mojo boost. Had to respond to that Pistons loss. Really nice to set the tone ahead of this West Coast road trip. And it looks very much like RJ Barrett and Immanuel Quickley have settled in very quickly, no pun intended, to this team. Some great stats all around, as I said earlier on. Dennis Schroeder with a nice performance off the bench. Trent, still up and down, but nice to have his scoring, or at least threat of scoring, off the bench. Schroeder's ability in the dribble penetration game off the bench and the playmaking game off the bench is nice. 8 assists, awesome for him off the bench. It's exciting to see where this team can go going forward. We'll need to figure out who that 9th player in the rotation is going to be, because it just can't be Thad, but really positive starts here. A lot of 3-ball game for the Raptors. They go 36.7% from 3. Came down in the late stages of this game, but they were able to shoot the ball today. They go 48.3% from the field, pretty much equal to the Cavaliers in terms of field goal percentage. They also go 48.3% from 3. This game comes down to the margins. The Raptors had just enough in the early stages where, hey, like, look, we were up by 19 at one point even. It's nice to be the team that's up by double digits. It can afford the late game blemishes rather than having to be perfect when we're down by 10. A rare game where the Raptors aren't down by 10 at any point. The largest lead for the Cavs was 3. They led 2-0. Then they took the lead like midway through the fourth quarter. But other than that, like, it was almost a wire-to-wire win for the Raptors. It does come down to like the late clutch stages of the game, but we win it with defense. So when these guys start to settle in a little bit more to this team, Quickley and Barrett, this is going to be fun. I think Raptors fans will walk away from this game saying, man, what a great game of basketball. Like, I just enjoyed watching that. That was fun. The Raptors look fun. The team, sure, there's some fit things that don't make the most complete sense, but it's starting to make more sense. And we're starting to see the project going forward that we can get behind. And I mean, on top of that, Darko gets the starting lineup right, which I didn't think he was going to do. There is a lot to like about the Raptors. Look, I don't think that this trade is going to make us a playoff team all of a sudden, but I think this trade is going to help us develop and help us just look and see where this team is going, see the process of where this team is going. But what we'll be telling about this team's talent is what we do on the West Coast road trip. It starts on Wednesday with a trip to the Memphis Grizzlies, and we stay out there to play the Kings, the Warriors, the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Jazz before coming home, hey, guess what? You got through that 6-game West Coast road trip. Welcome back home. You got the Celtics and Heat in back-to-back games. So, tough stretch of games ahead. Let's see what this team is made of. But ultimately, I would have walked away from this game upset at the Raptors had lost, seeing as they were up by 19. But what I wanted to see coming to this game was just, let's see Quickley. Let's see Barrett. Let's use them and see what they got. We got that. They played well. Let's see this team looking good. Let's make this game fun to watch. And we got that. That's what we got. It was very refreshing, as Jay Alexander says in chat. The fact that we also got the win on top of that is just even better. Going to the West Coast road trip on high, bounce back from the Pistons game, really help RJ and Quickley settle into this team very quickly. Very much needed. That's great stuff. Happy New Year, everybody. Raptors grab that victory. Let's move and keep it going against the Memphis Grizzlies. 2 wins away from the Darko Pizza Party. So smash that like button if you enjoyed what you saw from this piece of content here. And subscribe. We do content like this for every Raptors game. So join the amateur army today by subscribing. We'll see you for that Memphis game when the Raptors start that West Coast road trip.